Hi everybody, Robert here with Odd Random Thoughts. More Linux and a coffee. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, and sorry about that, but such is life, you know. Been real busy at work, a lot of things going on, and kind of, I guess, maybe lost inspiration there a little bit. But it's not something I do as a full-time job or anything like that. I have a full-time job, so it's kind of when I get inspired to make a video about something, or I feel like I've got something going on that might be worth you taking a look at, then I pop a video out there. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about backups. There's been a lot of people that have mentioned backups throughout several of my other videos in the comments, wondering, you know, what kind of backups I do, what kind of formats I might use for that, and also a lot of focus particularly on the Linux servers and the backup solutions for that. And I've kind of got all that stuff tied in together into one big system, and I'll show you all the ins and outs of what I do to perform backups. Most of it's pretty seamless, either with rsync or well, we'll get into that here in a little bit, but so first of all, I want to kind of show you a little bit about what I've done in Windows. My main workstation is a Windows 10 machine, and I've done something a little bit out of the ordinary. Well, I guess it depends on who you are, but I know not everyone does this. But let me open up my File Explorer here, and I'll show you a little bit about what I've got going on here. Now, of course, I have the OneDrive has a few things in it. I just kind of use it as a Dropbox, but where I started this system for backups, I just recently got a Drobo Pro. It's got 8 drives in it. I believe I've got somewhere 12 to 13 terabytes of usable storage on it with 2 drive redundancy, all that good stuff. So it's a very good storage solution. I have it attached to my computer with the iSCSi protocol, so I get really fast transfers to it. It's mounted right here on my computer as Drobo, and my computer, being how it's using iSCSi protocol, sees that as a physically attached drive on the computer's main board. So but what I've done is I have a folder here called Profiles, and if I go into that, this is Robert PC. That's my main workstation. And if I go into here, I have my documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, and also have another link here to Thunderbird, which contains my actual Thunderbird profile, and I can show you that in another video on how to redirect your Thunderbird profile for your email to a different location. It's real easy to do, but I do that because that way all of these items are stored on the iSCSi storage array instead of my physical computer. That way anything I save, whether it's something I download from the internet, a document I save, my pictures, videos, whatever, will be stored on the SAN rather than on the computer. So if I have to reinstall Windows, or say my system crashes or something like that, then I don't have to worry about any of my personal documents, anything. It's all saved on a separate location, so I can just reinstall Windows, redirect these library profiles to the SAN, and then I've got all my stuff back just like that. I don't have to move any files. I don't have to zip them up or send them, SSH them to the machine or anything else. They're They're just automatically attached once I initiate the target from the Drobo. So that's why I do that. Also on the Drobo, I have media, which has all of my DVDs, movies, ebooks, my music library, my photos. Now, the reason that I store my music and photos in a separate location from the music and photos libraries here is because this is all attached to a Plex media server, so it's easier management for me to keep a media folder with all of those items together, and I access those through Plex anyway, so I don't generally use my local music or video directory or anything like that. And then I have a storage that has all of my programs, my operating systems, anything for my virtual machines. As you can see here, it has a whole lot of different stuff in it. Router backups for my router machines, various drivers, Adobe products, stuff like that. So, and then I also have a vSphere backup here for my iSCSi server, and here I've just moved the actual hard drive files over into these directories, and that keeps those backed up. Plus I have snapshots on the server itself, and then I have Windows image backups, my sister's computer and my main computer, which is a bare metal backup. And if you're not familiar with what that is, that's basically just a system image that takes a full snapshot of all hardware settings, programs installed, all of your software keys, everything is in that image. So if I need to refresh the PC, if I didn't want to install Windows fresh, I would just expand that image back onto the hard drive, and my computer would be right back where it was at the time the image was taken. And I update those images from time to time. And I built my sister's computer for her, so I keep an image of it just in case something goes wrong. I can put that image on an external drive, take it to her house, and then I can fix her computer with that image. But basically my Drobo is the storage for my computer and anything else on the network. I have shared out certain folders on the Drobo to where they can be accessible over the network by other machines, like the storage directory that has all my goodies in it. It's available as a network share, so the other machines don't physically have to attach to the storage via iSCSi. They just access the share from my computer. And then I had a couple of different methods here. I also have a NAS for free server that I run, that I'm in the middle of phasing out, mainly because, number one, it only has 1 terabyte of usable storage in it, because I have 2 terabyte drives. They're in a mirror, so it does have redundancy as opposed to the Western Digital MyBook, but it's power hungry. I mean, it produces heat, it consumes energy and electricity. So if I can prevent having to run that extra computer and just scale that down to this little MyBook, which is actually 2 terabytes, then I'm saving myself a lot of hassle and also not having to maintain another machine. Now, I used this NAS for free server for a long time, and it was also running my Plex media server, but I've now virtualized my Plex server on a Windows 7 virtual machine, and it works flawlessly. No lag, no problems whatsoever, and it stays running 24/7. because the iSCSi server also has my web server and my mail server, my secondary DNS server. It has the YouTube test server on it. It has an Ubuntu desktop machine. It has several other machines that run that I keep going, you know, all the time. So since that machine is going to be running anyway, why not utilize the resources to run Plex rather than, again, a separate machine? So what I've done is, on the Western Digital MyBook, I'll open the smartware program here for you, which is software that comes with the MyBook. And what I've done here is, in the settings, I've only told it to keep one version of each file, so we're not going to have, you know, multiple increments of each file on there. And then in the backup, here on the home, instead of selecting my main Windows drive, I selected the Drobo drive, and under the backup I just checked off the items that I want to back up off of the Drobo. So this is allowing me to get a secondary backup of everything that's on that that SAN. So I have my profile, which has my documents, you know, my downloads, videos, music, all that stuff, my storage folder, and then I have chosen only to retain the ebooks, the music, and the photos, because the movies and DVDs, it's a huge library. I mean, it's hundreds of gigs of information, and you know, I can just always rip the movies again if I lose them, so it's not any big deal if I lose that media. Now I do have like my YouTube videos and stuff backed up on here. They're in my profile directory, so I do have all that stuff backed up. But this MyBook is taking the place of the NAS for Free server, because all it was doing was rsyncing using Delta copy from the Drobo to the NAS for Free server using rsync. So it was basically making the same copy of these files to that server, although it did have a drive redundancy on it. What's the point? You know, really, I have 2 drive redundancy already in the Drobo, and by using the MyBook, not only does that give me a secondary backup, and I have that set to run every day at 2:30 in the morning, so it's gonna, anything that happens during the day, any changes to my files, it'll take the new image. So, and not only that, if I want to, I can just detach this and carry it off-site, and then I have an off-site backup as well of all my files. So I have 2 layers of backup going on there, which is a good idea to do. Now I could keep the NAS for Free server running and have 3 copies of all my information, but be honest with you, you know, aside from some tax returns and stuff like that, I really don't have anything that is detrimental enough to pay the extra $15 or $20 a month in electricity. You know, so and besides, you know, like I said, I've got 2 drive failures there, then I have a secondary backup here, and I have system images, and I also have a terabyte little Western Digital external here. So, and it has a system image on it as well. So I've got plenty of backup for my system. Now I'll show you the Delta copy server. This is what I was running to serve these directories to the NAS for Free server, and then in NAS for Free you just go to rsync and you set up an rsync client to connect to these shares on this Delta server. I can make another video on that at a different time, and walk you through how to set all that up, because I do still have the NAS for Free server here. It is fully functional. I just have it shut down because I'm going to try this solution for a while and see how it works out and see how it affects the power bill and all that good stuff. And as long as everything works out, then if I can simplify, you know, all the stuff in the network closet in there and shut down a machine, a server, to where I don't have to run it, then that's awesome with me, because I've already got 2 router machines, separate machines running, 2 switches. I have the iSCSi host that's running a whole host of virtual machines, the web server, the mail server, all that good stuff. And then on top of that, I had the NAS for Free server running, and I also have the Drobo SAN up top that's you know, running and attached 24/7. Now the only thing that could be a problem is if I decide to shut down my computer, my main workstation, then the connection to the SAN is lost. The iSCSi connection, the initiator drops the connection to the target, and then any shares that were available on the network are no longer available. But to be honest, in 6-7 years, I've probably shut down my main workstation a handful of times. It stays up 24/7. It doesn't go to sleep. It doesn't do any of that stuff. And some of you may argue with that, and that's fine. But of course, I have my ways of doing things, as you have your ways. So nobody's right or wrong in that, but just depends on your situation. But anyway, so I don't worry too much about that. And besides, if I am up and moving about the house and doing something on the network anywhere, then you can bet this main machine is going to be powered up, because it's basically the heart of the control of the whole network. I control my routers from this workstation, my switches, the iSCSi server. Everything is controlled from this main workstation. I have my office work computer behind me there, but it is on the DMZ. It's separated from my home network, so it's not even attached to any of this. So and it doesn't need to be, nor would I want it to be. But anyway, that's a pretty simple backup solution. It mainly starts with the fact that all of my personal files, documents, downloads, pictures, all that stuff is redirected to the SAN, and that's where everything is held. And I'll show you, if you go to Documents here and you right click and go to Properties, you can look at the location, and here is where you can change the location of where this information is stored. So where this did used to say /users Robert /documents in the C drive, I just changed it to X, which is the Drobo, and directed it to the directory where I want these files to be stored. Hit OK, and then it'll pop up and say, do you want to move all of your files contained in that folder to the new location? You hit yes. Everything is moved. It actually deletes the documents folder completely from the user's directory profile, and everything's redirected there. And the best part is any programs that are attached to those folders, like if you have running a program that saves cache or certain information in the documents folder or whatever, it will automatically update those settings in those programs when you open them. It's because it's going to search for where is documents, and it's going to look at this location, and it's going to set that new profile. So I think one program I had an issue with that. I cannot remember what it was. I think it may have been Firefox. I had to change the downloads location to the new location, but I believe everything else just updated automatically once I moved that profile. So that right there basically creates an immediate backup away from my computer without me having to do anything, and I don't have to update it, I don't have to run anything, I don't have to do anything except just go about my normal routine, and all my information is saved on a storage solution that has 2 drive redundancy. And not only that, it frees up a ton of space on my internal machines hard drive because none of that stuff's saved on it. So that gives you lots of room, and you know, if you wanted to go SSD or something like that, you could get away with a pretty small SSD as long as all of your personal files were saved in a different location. So, and then I just copy the backup from the Drobo to the MyBook, and I've got myself covered. So that's pretty much how I do my Windows machine. My laptop, I just leave it like it is. I'm always messing with it, reinstalling Windows, doing stuff. I don't really save anything on it anyway. I just use it for browsing the internet, looking up stuff, email, nothing major. So really this is the only machine that I need to worry about that. Now you could do this for multiple machines on your network. You could redirect all your profiles to your storage solution, and of course you can do all that stuff with the profile redirects and all that kind of stuff if you're, say, running a Windows server, like a server 2012 R2 or something like that. You know, you can do folder redirects and profile redirection and all that kind of stuff, and save all of the profiles on the domain controller. But for my setup here, I don't need a domain controller, and besides, I don't necessarily need the authentication, and I love Linux too much, so all of my network is Linux based except for this Windows machine and my office computer. So and I could set up authentication on one of the Linux servers if I really needed it and store profiles there, but you know, that's not really anything that I'm interested in doing here at the house. So now this might not work if you're needing a business solution or something. Small business, possibly. It just all depends on how much trouble and how much money you have to put into it. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. A lot of people have asked about this kind of stuff. Now I will go over some of the solutions I have for my router backups and for iSCSi backups, NAS for free, all that kind of stuff in later videos. So kind of be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go into those a little bit later. But anyway, I hope this has been helpful to somebody out there. I know it may not be the ideal backup solution for most of you, maybe for some, but it works great for me. I just the easier the better. You know, why make things difficult for you? I've been in IT for a long time, and I've found that, yeah, there's some real intricate, intense ways, you know, command line junk with Linux and this, that, and the other. I know all of that. That's all great, and if that's what you want to use, that's fine, but make it easy on yourself. That's what a computer is for. It's supposed to make your life easier. So if the tools are there, then take advantage of them. I mean, you don't want to have to be thinking about that all the time and checking to see if your backups ran and this, that, and the other and all this kind of stuff. Just set up a simple solution like this. You'll have all your stuff saved, and then if you need to reinstall Windows, reinstall Windows. Who cares? You might have to put your programs back on if you don't use a system image, but as far as your personal files and all that stuff, you don't ever have to think about it again. Just save it on, redirect all of your library folders to a storage solution, and you're set. And then you can do a backup of that if you want. But anyway, enough rambling on all that. I'll probably have to edit out about 100 hours of this video, but anyway, it's good to see y'all again. And again, sorry for the longevity between videos there. I'm going to try my best to get a little bit more regular content coming out. But thank you to all the subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed already, I'd be honored if you would do that. Just click that little button and give me a like if this has been helpful in any way. And until next time, keep doing what you do, and I'll catch you then. Bye-bye.